Okay, I'm gonna try to bring back projection readings. I just hope that this time I got it right. Let's see what happens when I turn the light on. Pretty good. I think I can work with that. Let's begin. Hi, precious souls. Welcome to the Spiritual Social. I'm Lexi, your local lightworker. I thought of creating a unique pick-a-card reading for you guys. I'm going to experiment a little bit with the background today. I'm thinking about bringing back wall projections as backgrounds to my readings. This is something I tried at the beginning of Saturn's transit through my sign in Pisces in 2023. And I had some audio issues. I gave it up, and now I was thinking it's about the right time to just attempt one more time. So I would really appreciate your feedback. Comment down below and let me know if you enjoy these types of readings so I can know if I'm to create them for you or if I should just stop and change it back to the old format. Now, I have a choice here for you of 6 cards taken from the Enchanted Blossoms Oracle. This is an oracle deck by Carla Morrow, who was kindly sent to me as a gift. So I really appreciate you guys. I have a tarot and oracle wish list. If you want to get in touch with me through that, I will give you a free general tarot reading, just so you know. But now coming back to your options, here are the cards I selected for you. So for you, group 1, I have here this card. This is Hope, and we see here a combination of butterfly and plant, hawthorn and black veined white. For you, group 2, we have the theme of patience, and the combination is white Monte Cassino and the yellow Pansy. For you, group 3, I have this one. This is the lily or the Archduke butterfly. Gorgeous. For you, group 4, I have the Magnificence as a theme, and we have here Bird of Paradise and Common Mother of Pearl. For you, group 5, I have the theme of happiness, and we see here Coreopsis and the common Buckeye. Yeah. And for you, group 6, last but never least, we have here the theme of passion and the Bougainvillea and the Octaeus swordtail. That's a mouthful. So have a look at these cards and see which one pulls you in the most. Go by color, go by your gut feeling, by their placements, by their shape, whatever tickles your fancy, my love. Yeah, I want to thank you kindly for being part of my community here. We have been stagnating for a while, but that's okay. I don't really mind. I like it that we are cozy and intimate, and yeah, I hope to be able to show up for you more. In this period, I've been a little bit slow with uploads because I am studying and I had a lot of reading to do. But very soon, my exam sessions is going to end and I'll be able to kind of share more of my energy with you guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your love, your memberships. Thank you for following me on Instagram. Thank you for joining me on all my other channels. I have 4 other channels, so make sure to just check all the links that I've placed at your disposal. Thank you, sweethearts. Now, without further ado, let's jump straight in and find out what is your personal love style. Let's explore. Hey group 1, welcome to this innovative reading. I hope you guys are going to enjoy it. Let me know down in the comments how you find it. I really need feedback for this session, please. But anyway, this is your reading. We're going to figure out together your love style, and I'm going to challenge myself by using just 3 cards to do your interpretation. And I want you to keep in mind that this is not about your language of love style. That's a completely different thing, and some people have challenged the idea of those love styles. But I want to give you a personality reading based on what I see in these cards. So this is your card. This is the butterfly and flower combination that you are drawn towards. We have here hope. This is the overall theme. You're very hopeful about your love life. You're very hopeful about meeting somebody that can be your soulmate. And this is honestly the best type of energy you can be in. And we also have here the hawthorn and the black veined white butterfly. Yeah. So these could be your special herbs and butterfly insect combination. These could be like animal spirits in combination with a herb that could really help you. Hawthorns are known to actually be the types of herbs that if you work with them, they can give you immunity, like a boost in strength. And maybe you need that. Maybe this is something related to your personality. Your style of love is very strong, maybe even a little bit intense. Let's see the cards that you were given. Oh, we start off very strongly with the bad child. Okay, I can see here that you tend to be a little bit of a baddie, yeah? Maybe some people in your past have qualified you as, oh, I love to be with her or him. You're like the bad boy, bad girl type. Maybe you do like to be a little bit of a rebel in love. You don't like to follow the rules. You're walking to the beat of your own drum. And this can really irk and irritate some people that have traditional expectations of you, but it's like you don't really care. It's your life, you're very aware of that, and you're just going to live it as you please, especially in the area of love, romance, and intimacy, where, we are without a manual, we are without a compass. We just need to use our common sense, our feelings, what we imagine, our fantasies, and a lot of us, unfortunately, unconsciously bring up the emotional baggage of our childhoods as well. So I feel like you tend to be kind of like a fighter. You tend to be often engaged in these passionate love affairs, these on and off kind of affairs. You may tend to fall in love with people who are unapproachable or in some way unavailable. Maybe this is a person that lives on the other side of the world and you cannot have them physically close. Or maybe this is a situation at work and there are professional boundaries that need to be protected, but you don't really care about that. It's like the heart wants what it wants. Or maybe you tend to crush on people who are already spoken to other people, like they're married or committed or engaged. And I feel it's this unavailability of the connection that turns you on. And the fact that you tend to not follow the rules can also be a turn on for the people that fall in love with you. They really like your kind of like no BS attitude, your hard to forget, but also kind of hard to forgive attitude. You tend to leave a lot of broken hearts in your trail. You're a little bit of a heartbreaker. And I'm also hearing that some people may have labeled you a Casanova or a man-eater, kind of like these derogatory terms attached to people who tend to have a lot of romantic experience. So let's see. The other cards are, oh my goodness, wow, the Avenger. So light attributes, desire to balance the scales of justice, righteousness on behalf of society or oneself. And then I love the mask, Maybe you enjoy some sort of like mask play in the bedroom. Maybe you like to dress up in costumes. There is just something about you wanting to dress up, wanting to impress your partner. You want to bring some drama in the bedroom. You really want to make the person that you're with have an unforgettable experience. Do you know what character I'm thinking of right now? Irma Vep from The Vampires, played by the phenomenal Silent Scream era actress Musidora. Really, like, you should give it a go. There's also been a series. I think the first movie was with Maggie Cheung, phenomenal actress, and then they created a series with Alicia Vikander about Irma Vep. So anyway, do some Google searches after this reading and check out Irma Vep. That's kind of the vibe, like a woman dressed like in a leotard who has these kind of like naughty intentions, but at the same time, she is quite lovable. That's the vibe I'm getting. I can also see here shadow attributes, resorting to violence in the name of a cause. Ooh, so I guess that some of the partners that you have, I hope that there was not the case of issuing restraining orders, but there could have been this threat of violence. And I kind of feel like you come across as very aggressive in certain situations. Huh. And I have here your final card, the Fox. Yeah, so it's kind of like you are not for everybody's tastes, that's 100% sure. You may have Uranus very strongly aspecting your Venus, your Sun, your Moon, or your Ascendant, or you have a North Node in Aquarius. It's like people cannot forget you. They don't want to leave you, but they also find it very difficult to be with you because there's no stability in this connection with you. You live fast, you live intensely, and you love passionately. And all of these things put together, they don't make for a cozy, stable, and kind of a little bit boring, lukewarm relationship. I think that you rolled your eyes when you heard lukewarm, cozy relationship. I feel like you live for the drama, you live for the mad love affair. Wuthering Heights could be your favorite love story of all times. I'm just getting that you are this individual that is just like a comet, you know, you love to burn. And I think that some people that get drawn to you, they do end up getting a little bit burned, you know, so you have to find a way to balance a little bit because you don't want to get in trouble with the law. Because I see that there's potential here. Your love style is that of a comet, you know, like look at the volcano behind me, the lava. That's exactly it. I just see you as this individual who's this incandescent firefly kind of energy, you know. When you love, it's like you love with your open heart. You just wear your heart on your sleeve. You fire up really easily, like you tend to fall in love quite easily, but you may also lose interest as easy as you fell in love. And this could get some people confused, especially people who take their time getting to know you, who take their time to get attached to you. You may leave them completely like blindsided, like what hit me? Whoa, you know? And yeah, there could be here the potential for engaging in connections that could lead to domestic violence. So you have to be a little bit careful with this. Don't play with fire this much because you may end up burning yourself or burning somebody else, you know? But yeah, I see here fireworks. You could be a fire sign. I am very tempted by the color of this fox, you know. I see here Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. It could also be the color orange, which is the sacral chakra. Also a little bit of yellow, which is the solar plexus chakra. And I associate these two epicenters of energy in our body with Leo, Manipura, and Scorpio, Swadhisthana. So I definitely see here a person that can be a bit sly. You may even decide to have two partners, you know, like to be in a relationship with two partners. And when one of them bores you, you may switch to the other one. You may keep a partner hush hush on the down low. I just feel like a part in you wants to rebel against this idea of enforced monogamy. You don't want to follow the rules of the patriarchy. It's like, I do what I want. It's my private life and I'm just gonna live it, and to hell with what other people think, you know? And I think that some people are like obsessively drawn towards this energy because they wish they would have just 20% of the courage and passion that you have, of the energy that you have to live your life in this way. But yeah, because you are so intense, you walk a fine line between, you know, arrested development and just sheer arrest. I'm sorry about this, but yeah, that's kind of what is coming up. So the fox, a symbol of being cunning, but also incredibly sly and quite devoted to the people that have touched your heart. There are not that many people that really touch you deeply. The Avenger, you're out for blood. If somebody disrespects you, if somebody is like, you know, not loving you at the same level, you could hold a little bit of a double standard. It's kind of like you want your things in a certain way, but you wouldn't accept the other person to do the same to you. For example, if you have two partners, you will find it a little bit difficult to accept that your partner could also want to be open and have other partners. So be mindful of that double standard, okay? Be sure that you're treating your partner equally, that if you want to live openly and passionately and freely and with your foot on the gas, allow other people to do that as well. You know, it's only fair. And then with the bad child, you may suffer a little bit from abandonment. Maybe when you were young, you could have been so harshly disciplined by your parents who couldn't take your nasty side, because every child has a nasty side, you know, we all have this inside of us, but some of us are allowed to experience it and we are told that we're still lovable even if we're bad, while others are punished very strongly for being bad. So we end up growing up with so much pent-up resentment and anger that we tend to destructively take it upon ourselves and other people. So be mindful of this anger. Keep in mind that you're not a bad person. You may have just been poorly educated or poorly loved. And you can always re-mother yourself, re-parent yourself. You can always re-educate yourself, you know. You can always use your intuition, your common sense to just change things. There's nothing lost, okay? And there's more to be gained and more to be experienced. You are, wow, a firecracker, a lover that is just unforgettable. I think people write stories about the love that they had or that they shared with you. So keeping this in mind, I hope that this helps you understand your love style better. Comment down below, let me know if this resonated, and like this video if you have enjoyed it. I cannot wait to see my next one. Ciao. Hi group 2, hello my loves, welcome to a special your personal love style reading. This is very different from an analysis of your language of love style. That's a completely different thing. I just want to use 3 cards to try to get to the bottom of your personality in love. How do you love? How do other people perceive you? Let's explore. So this is the card that you were drawn. This is the butterfly and plant combination. We have here the theme patience, yeah? And it is expressed through the white Monte Cassino butterfly and the yellow pansy. Okay, so these two could be, maybe one of them is your animal spirit, and the other one could be a herb, a plant, a flower that you may enjoy in this period. It could help you get more in touch with your loving side. And that's why I chose these cards, to give you some clues and inspiration. Okay, all this being said, let's see the cards that you were given. What is your love style? So, right off the bat, we have femme fatale, or if you're a man, homme fatal. Yeah, this is kind of like Brigitte Bardot, Alain Delon. If you're thinking about like French celebrities, just to fall in line with the French-speaking energy. Maybe you are French-speaking. Some of you could be Canadian and you were born in the French-speaking part of Canada. Or you tend to attract people that are French-speaking. There's just something about your style, you know, they just come to you like moths to a flame. But the equivalent of the 2 actors I mentioned in America would be like Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt, I guess. I don't know. So we're having here somebody who is described as filled with erotic energy, highly feminine, opens your heart when your dependency is rejected. That's an interesting interpretation, because it's kind of like the femme fatale walks to the beat of her own drum, but in a more subtle and kind of like gentle way than group 1's energy, where we had the Avenger. So the femme fatale is somebody who can have a powerful, magnetic, and erotic imprint. The moment when you see this kind of individual, it's like you know that they ooze pleasure and sensuality. People tend to fall for these kind of people because they instantly start fantasizing about the pleasure that their body would feel if they were to make love to them, if they were to kiss them, to smell them, to touch them. A femme fatale is like a sensual bomb, or a bomb of sensuality, however you want to put it into words. It's kind of like she works at you on the subconscious level. And that's exactly your energy group too. Now the darker parts of this energy, because you know we have the light with the shadow, we see here inappropriate use of sensuality, attachment to money and power. So this is basically the gold digger energy, right? The person who uses her beauty and her body and her charm, not to kind of like basically just enjoy herself and her life and maybe even contribute to culture in some way, But this is somebody who hones in on a rich victim and drains that person of money, you know? So this is kind of like somebody who marries into wealth, somebody that people clearly see is not in love with somebody else. They just got married because of upward mobility. They wanted to jump class really quickly. You know, they wanted to kind of get the shortcut to the rags to riches story. Now, you know, it's not my place to shame anyone that does that. Times are hard. And if you're good looking and you live in the slums and you get a chance to marry a billionaire, do it. You know, you want to live in a property that is safe and you want to enjoy good food and like nice things, you know. Obviously, these things would come at an emotional and sexual cost, but I do see here that most of you may not necessarily fall in this shadow attribute, because the next card that I see here is the Dancer. So we have here the god Pan, and the god Pan was revered during Greco-Roman times across the holiday of Christmas. It's just that in pagan times, before Christmas became an institution with Jesus Christ, they used to call the celebration Saturnalia. And it was practically during the transition of the sun in Sagittarius to sun in Capricorn. And the god Pan is most likely associated with Saturn and Capricorn energy, the lusty goat, the one who fornicates and spreads its seeds with fertility in the forest, and thereby gives birth to nature. The ancient version of the god Pan was Cernunnos, and he was believed to be this kind of like natural god who made love to Mother Earth and gave birth to all of the abundance of animals and insects and fish and all sorts of creatures that are alive on Earth. So he was considered to be this kind of priapic god, right? And what I see here is that you have phenomenal fertility and creativity inside of you. Like, you are this kind of individual that if you want to, you definitely can have like a family with many children. You can start off many different businesses. You can work on many different creative projects. I feel like all you need to do is allow yourself to ride the wave of your unconscious mind and just create left and right, from people to projects to businesses to money to all sorts of opportunities for those around you. You have a lot of erotic power, and this erotic power can be expressed in seducing people, right? You can give people a lot of pleasure if you choose to, but you can also be withholding and create a lot of pain. I feel that if you're not using this energy to physically give pleasure to other people, then it's definitely the other side of the coin. You're very prolific. You have a lot of ideas. I feel like you could be a performance artist, you could be a dancer, a singer, you could be a person that easily creates connections and rides the wave of having many different friends and friends groups and many different networks. And I have a feeling that you are, it's like you pour yourself in as many different people and things and situations as possible. There is the vibe here of somebody who can be slightly vampiric. So sometimes you can meet up with people just so you can be in their beautiful energy and kind of refill yourself. But this is usually the marker of a person who is extroverted. As an extrovert, you need the energy of other people. And I definitely feel that you can also give them. I feel that you can fall into these vampiric tendencies when you have been kind of depleted of creativity and life force and eroticism. Yeah. So if you're in a connection with a partner, I feel like you're this kind of person that can make love every day. And then at a certain point, you would feel depleted of energy because it's quite exhausting for the spirit to do that physical work every day. And then you kind of socialize, or you do other things like you paint, you draw, you sing, you use your body in a different way. And that's how your energy comes back. And again, then you are able to put more energy into Eros. Eros is basically this life force, right? So it's about defeating death. It's about against what is decaying, against what is old, against the passing of time. It is the energy of lovemaking. It is the energy of being alive, of health, of abundance. Yeah. So I definitely feel that you're this kind of person that many people feel like when they are with you, they feel like they're with the superstar. Or maybe somebody may have felt like you are like a planet and they like to orbit you. Or maybe some people, I'm getting that some of you, okay, some of you may have OF accounts. You know what that is. I'm not going to spell it out. And others of you, if you don't have OF accounts, you may have gone on dates and maybe people thought that they saw you in a POR movie, you know? Like you carry that energy, you carry that vibration, that eroticism that is turned up, you know? I get that you produce physical reactions in the bodies of people when you go out. Like you could even be in public transportation, people just want to rub up on you, you know? Which may have made you feel a little bit, you know, tense. You may have had some tense exchanges with strangers, because obviously this is an energy that's very hard to control and limit. And I guess that sometimes you need to find ways to hide it or to veil it somehow to be able to be more in control of it. We have here the woman. You're like the quintessential representative of your gender. It's like you don't need to put effort into looking more feminine or looking more masculine. You just are, like from the tip of your nails all the way to your toes. You just are divine feminine or divine masculine incarnate. Yeah. It comes very natural to you. You could have a sun in Libra, sun in Taurus, ascendant in Libra, ascendant in Taurus, or a north node there. You could have like Venus conjunct Jupiter as well. There's just something that is amplified. Moon conjunct Venus. As you can see, it's like this romantic and passionate energy. It's like romance and eros meet together in the shape of you. And there's also this playful, this kind of like, I'm going to take my top off and dance on a table at the party. There's this side of you that is like, whoa, you know, but there's also this incredibly romantic side. I mean, I think that you look fantastic in photo shoots. Maybe you've been invited to weddings and people actually thought that you look much better than the bride or the groom, like you outshined them. There's just something very sun in the 5th house kind of energy with you, or sun in the 8th as well. Very magnetic, attractive, naturally luminous. It's like people, they become your simps, they become your fans without even you needing to put that much effort. You just, even if you were to be dressed in a potato sack, you would still look effing attractive and super gorgeous. For some reason, there's just something, the way your skin smells, the way you carry yourself, it's just this fatal kind of energy, you know? You give people a shock when they see you. It's like, oh, mon Dieu, you know, my God, I can't believe this. Where have you been all my life, you know? Maybe people actually say cheesy things to you all the time, you know, did you fall from heaven because you're like such an angel, or you know, things like that, like ooh, things that kind of give you the ick. But I'm sure you're accustomed to this, and I'm sure that there is also something quite kind about you. I feel like you don't reject people in an aggressive way. You're just very much aware that, yeah, I am gorgeous. What can I say? Mama made a good one. It's a very beautiful energy, and I'm sure that you will continue to enjoy it. I really hope that you like this reading. Comment below and let me know if it resonated in any way. It's a bit of an experiment, but one that I hope you have enjoyed. I cannot wait to see you in my next one. Ciao. Hi, group 3. Hello, darlings. Welcome to a unique pick a card reading. I'm going to do my best to use just 3 cards to read your love style. So this is very different than the languages of love kind of depictions. I'm just going to focus on your personality, how you are when you are loving or when you love, and how others may perceive you. Okay, let's see what we find out. And this is for those of you that were drawn to the Elegance card. So your butterfly and plant combination is, we have here the Archduke butterfly, And we have the lily, which is a flower that is used both at funerals but also at weddings, depending on your luck, I guess, you know. In Romania, it's actually considered that if you give somebody a bouquet of lilies for their wedding, they may end up losing their loved one. And I can tell you that this actually happened with my grandmother. She carried a beautiful bouquet of lilies and she lost her partner 4 years after. So yeah, I don't know what to say about this. It seems that we need to pay attention to our superstitions. But I feel the need to say this because maybe you are a person that reads signs and symbols and synchronicities. I feel that with the elegance theme of this reading, you are somebody that people hold in high regard. There is a certain kind of like spiritual respect attached to you. Okay. Whoa. Oh, wow. Okay, the first card. We're starting off really strong. We have the Tower. Now, the Tower in astrology and in tarot is considered to be a card of destruction, usually associated with the impulsive, destructive energy of the planet Mars, the one who rules over Aries and also used to rule over the sign of Scorpio in ancient times before Pluto was discovered. So I feel like you're a person that could be quite stern, or people could perceive you as stern and unapproachable. Like Rapunzel, you're caught up in an ivory tower and nobody can reach you unless you lay down your guard, unless you let your hair down, right? Unless you relax, people are going to find it very hard to reach the heights of your expectations. But at the same time, there is a certain reverence, like people do hold you in high regard and high esteem. You are not somebody that anybody would consider to be gauche or cheap or dramatic in any way. There's a certain stillness and groundedness about you. There's a certain stability that people adore about you. Like you are the person that can be a shoulder for them to cry upon during harsh times. You provide them with a lot of comfort, knowing that you tend to stay the same. You tend to not move with the trends or wherever the wind blows. So I feel like some people, when they see you, they imagine that they can build a certain life with you, but at the same time, you could shock them by letting them know that you're not interested in their romantic or erotic pursuits. Yeah, we have the red door and the black door. So I feel like you could be quite rejecting of a lot of the offers that come your way. There is a certain self-protectiveness, a certain defensiveness, like a tower. A tower protects what's inside, but also keeps people away, right? So in some way, it can be quite strong, like a stronghold, but it can also end up becoming an inner prison. The tower as well is like a phallic symbol. So I feel that if you are a man, you carry yourself with a lot of confidence. And if you're a woman, I feel that you're very much in touch with your animus. You're almost like haunted by your animus. Sometimes you tend to be the pursuer in a connection, the one that chases, because you don't appreciate people who just randomly come at you. You want to be the one in control and to choose your partner, to hone in on your desired one. Now, whoa, okay, we have the hair, and I also saw the priest. Well, this clarifies a little bit the energy. Very strong Hierophant, High Priestess energy, Taurus, Pisces vibe. With the hair here, you are a very strange creature. You're a very different animal than most people. I feel like you are an introvert par excellence. Very few people can actually vibe with you or understand you. You need a lot of alone time to recharge from the overstimulation of daily life. But you're also rare. There's something like to be put on a pedestal. I'm getting the sense, though, that you may have chosen to hide from the world or retreat from the world due to something traumatic that happened to you. And I feel like you use spiritual methods to get in touch with people, but also to create fantasy love affairs, because a real flesh and blooded person by your side can be scary, can be something that you are going to struggle to relate to and accept, because such a person can also hurt you. Now, if I put the hair card down and I read the light attributes of the priest, we have the following description. Facilitates spiritual commitments, serves as a channel of spiritual energy. But the shadow, darker side is violates the trust of the spiritual community, seduced by own spiritual role. I kind of have a feeling some of you may have grown up in a cult, or you had some sort of cult experiences that shocked you, that what you believed was pure and spiritual ended up just being like a sexual orgy, and in some way you were shocked. And maybe there is a split inside of yourself between considering spirituality to be something that uplifts you and sexuality something that can destroy you, yeah? When in reality they are connected. Sometimes the more erotic energy exists inside of you, the more of the spiritual heights you can reach, because it's that life force energy rather than the death force energy, the depression, the isolation, the walking away from relationships, from people, from society. So I'm also getting that you could be quite self-conscious of your hair, because I feel the need to smooth it out, and I'm very kind of self-conscious of my hair in your specific reading. So it could be that you may hide your hair. Your erotic and love style could be somehow controlled by religion. And you tend to live your most intense fantasies in your mind, in your own little world, you know, kind of like locked away from other people, sheltered. There could be like a very sheltered energy, you know. So either you went through something traumatic and you're hiding away from society, isolating yourself in your ivory tower like Rapunzel, or you grew up with a very strong traditional religious parenting, and it's kind of like you're sheltered, you're protected, you're only meant to marry and experience love and sexuality through marriage, and only meant to marry in an arranged format or after a certain age, or only with somebody that is approved by your religious community. Yeah, it's a very interesting, fascinating vibe, because I'm kind of picking up on the fact that you filter your love style through these religious concepts, yeah? And that's why some people find you unapproachable or hard to reach, because not that many people are religious in society, and increasingly less so each year. So I feel like it's intimidating for them to get to know you, to get close to you, because they know that they have to get through this whole process of asking for your hand in marriage, needing to prove to your family that they're a suitable counterpart, and not that many people have the time or the patience to do that, right? Unless there is somebody from your own culture that pines after you. I feel like you will be open to that. You would be open to the candidate that fits all the requirements necessary. There is a certain purity about you. There is a certain naivety as well. But there is also a lot of spiritual knowledge. I feel that you already, you know, you don't live so much in your body anyway. I'm kind of reminded of Mother Anandamyama, I think, I guess I didn't pronounce that correctly, but she was a spiritual seeker in India who completely renounced like material assets, and she created this very reverent cult of people following her. And she, even as a small child, like she would spend hours just in this trance, in this daze, completely detached from the needs of her body, because she believed that only the soul matters, the soul is important. So maybe you could have these moments where you get into these religious trances and you kind of like just dissociate from your body. You know, the body is not essential. You don't put so much weight or importance or value on the pleasures of the body. What matters to you is the heart, and what matters to you is the connection with something higher than you. You know that no human being can give you that. So you're just willing to just put up with a marriage or put up with a relationship, as long as you are allowed to pursue your own hobbies and to live this very rich fantasy inner world. You're okay with basically whatever else happens around you, you know? But you do bring this energy of reverence, elegance, almost like a sense of the sacred in any connection. So that's why you are not somebody for everybody, but you are everything to a select few. That's kind of how I would describe you. Wow, okay. Let me know in the comments if this resonated, because I'm sure it may not resonate with many people. But anyway, if you didn't enjoy this reading, click on any of the other 6 options that I have here for you. But I feel that for some of you, the right ones, this will be a message that completely touches upon some of their deeper aspects. Some of you could actually be asexual and you don't even bother with the physical aspect of a relationship. You just live for the partnership, for the companionship. Fascinating. Okay, guys, thank you for listening. I hope you have enjoyed this interesting reading. Let me know how you think about it, and I cannot wait to see my next one. Ciao. Hey, group 4. Hello, my loves. Welcome to a unique pick a card reading. I'm gonna do my best to use just 3 cards and to try to figure out your love style. So this is a different situation than interpreting your languages of love reading. That has nothing to do with this reading today. I'm just going to focus on your personality, because I don't really agree with the languages of love idea. So I want to bring it back down to the basics and just use the cards and then create this portrayal for you that hopefully can help you understand how you love and how others perceive you. Okay, big introduction. We have here the Magnificence card. So this is the theme that you were drawn towards, and your butterfly and plant combo is, we have the bird of paradise and we have the common mother of pearl. Okay, so these are the 2, maybe animal spirit or insect spirit, if you want to call it like that, and plant or herb that you may benefit from in this period. I just wanted to give you extra clues by choosing these cards. So first of all, we chose Magnificence, right? So this is fascinating because it seems that your energy can be quite significant. It's like you may make a very powerful first impression. Maybe you have Pluto in the first house. It could be Mars conjunct your ascendant or Saturn. It's like the moment when they see you, people feel like, oh, something is going to go down, something is going to happen between me and this person, and it will be important. Like alarm bells are whistling when they see you. Let's see the cards that you were dealt. Okay, oh my god, I just picked all 3 of them at the same time, and we have the vampire, we have the bear, and the sleeper. That is a very fascinating combination. You really are somebody that is an acquired taste, I'm going to say that. And I think it's also because you're quite exclusive with the people you allow next to you. I am getting this energy of somebody who cannot tolerate fools. You do not suffer fools. You have high standards, high expectations. You can be very tough with yourself, but also tough with other people when the situation requires it. Now, the vampire and the bear, I'll put the sleeper here for the time being. This is somebody who is kind of like, it's not necessarily related to bloodlust, because I'm not getting that, like voracious passion that vampires can have. This is more about being a little bit reclusive, morose, like a grumpy bear that has just woken out of hibernation. You can be terrifying because, bears that have just woken out of hibernation, they're very hungry. So watch out. You do not want to be on the path of a bear that is hungry, because you'll be mauled, most likely. But at the same time, bears are protective. Bears, have been this image of childhood. Like if you think about plush teddy bears being the go-to accessory for every small child, right? So they can be protective, they can be warm, they can be adorable. They are very playful creatures as well. They're a little bit lazy, but it's mostly because they are so heavy, yeah? Now, if we put this in combination with a vampire, this is about somebody who is very precious. You're very precious with your time. You're very precious with the relationships that you have around you. Very selective. You won't let just anybody in because you don't have that much energy. So you are very clear on who you like and who you dislike. People know from the start if they will have any chance with you in romance or not. You're not one to kind of beat around the bush or to kind of create this fantasy around the situation, and then the person feels disappointed once they get to know you better. You tend to be pretty straightforward. Like, people normally, they see you and they know what they're gonna get, right? What you see is what you get. This is the vibe that you give off. You could also be a person married to your job. You could be very focused on the professional business aspect of life, and you may adopt the same kind of professionalism in your love life. Like, I think there was a funny video on YouTube about a woman who was taking dating applications from people and assessing them almost like a job interview application, you know? So may the best candidate win, yeah? I feel like this is very much your style, whether you are aware of it or not. The light attributes of the vampire here are described as makes you aware that someone or something is draining your life force. And the shadow attributes are depleting others for your own psychic survival, chronic complaining, and codependency. So if you exaggerate, you tend to be a little bit of a Debbie Downer, you know? Like, you may sometimes focus too much on how hurt you have been in love and how awful people are and how you don't want to let anybody in. And maybe some of your friends and relatives have gently told you this, like, you know, you gotta be a bit more positive, you know? You can't just give up after one failed attempt. Try and try again. So you could have Venus conjunct Saturn or Moon conjunct Saturn. Saturn could be on your ascendant. I am just getting this very strong kind of pressurizing energy that can get you to be too focused sometimes on the flaws of a relationship. You could also have Venus in Virgo. So I think, like the wise bear, you could often choose to see the strengths of a situation rather than just the pitfalls. I know it may be hard for you to trust people, but I feel like you are intelligent and selective enough to understand that the person you like can be trusted. You wouldn't choose a bad person. I feel like you screen your applicants in love with a lot of discernment, and you end up in the end making good choices. But I think this is also a case of you needing to feel more comfortable choosing partners rather than to allow other people to choose you. I think you're this kind of individual that needs to trust your gut instinct and just go for the person you want, not the person that just comes to you, is handed down to you, or just randomly chases you. It can be very flattering to be in connections with people that chase us, but they're not always the best kind if you know what you want and you just allow this other person to kind of hijack you, you know? Rather, go by what you want. You know what you want. You just have to be brave to pursue the objects of your affection with positivity, with optimism, knowing that, hey, the situation could actually work out in my favor. Not every person I pursue needs to reject me or needs to end up trolling me or walks away and something happens, belongs to somebody else, you know? So have a bit more faith, have a bit more courage. And I have a feeling that your love life is going to definitely improve if you are struggling. You also carry this very dreamy, idealistic energy when somebody gets to know you. I feel like you are the perfect partner to spend lazy weekends in bed with, you know? You're the perfect partner to have quiet alone time reading, you know, to enjoy comfortable silences with. You're the perfect partner to spend a difficult winter with, you know, like cozying up and just doing very low-key activities. You just have this very stabilizing influence, you know, even though you can be grumpy, even though you can be a bit too bleak or negative. I definitely feel like you are reliable, trustworthy, and solid, you know, just like the bear. Yeah. And in terms of the vampire, I think that this could also be your style, your look. Maybe you enjoy gothic clothes or goth makeup. Maybe you enjoy listening to gothic bands. You could be very pale skinned like myself, you know. Maybe you have very dark hair or you like to style it in that way. Yeah, and in general, you could be drawn to the gothic aesthetic, you know. It doesn't necessarily mean that you are somehow vampiric and you drain people of energy. I think that only happens when you are very depressed or when you tend to just see the bad in every situation. Keep in mind that every person, every situation in life contains opposites, yeah. And just focusing when you catch yourself ruminating on the negative aspect, just try to put them in balance and think about the positive ones as well so that you can keep yourself, you know, on an even keel. Yeah, sorry, even keel. But all in all, I feel like you can be a really dreamy, romantic, stable, solid sweetheart that gradually opens up to the love of a person, you know? You could be this person that meets somebody, and 6 months down the line, you start to feel like this closeness and intimacy with them. You know, it takes you a while to warm up. Yeah, just like the landscape behind me, it's icy cold, it's Antarctica. So I definitely feel like you can be a frozen territory when a person first meets you. But then as they gradually get to know you, you just become this protective bear, you know, this sleepy, goth like person who they can have comfortable silences with. It's beautiful. It's really beautiful. You are like a hidden gem. It's just that people need to have patience, and not everybody may stand that test of patience with you. So keep that in mind as well. Okay. I hope this helps. I hope you have enjoyed this rather strange, unique reading. Let me know down in the comments how you find it. I really welcome your feedback, especially when I do these kind of experiments. I really appreciate your feedback. Thank you kindly for being here, and I'll see you in my next one. Yeah. Ciao. Hi, Group 5. Hello. Welcome to a unique pickacard reading in which I will do my best to use just 3 cards to try to read your love style. Now, this is very different from the languages of love kind of readings that you've seen out there on the interwebs. I'm just going to refer directly to your personality, how you love, and how other people may perceive this love style of yours. So let's jump straight into it. I have here for you guys this card. This is the one you have chosen, the one you were drawn towards. Happiness. This is the overall theme. And your butterfly and plant combo is, we have here Coreopsis and the common buckeye. So the common buckeye is the butterfly and Coreopsis is the plant. And you may use them as your animal or insect spirit, maybe even purchase some of these herbs or plants, you know, they can help you in this period. I'm just here to give you some tips, some guidance, maybe even some synchronicities. You may have seen these recently, especially if you live outdoors. But I definitely am getting a very wholesome vibe about you. There's something very positive. You're completely the opposite of Group 4's energy. There's something incredibly life affirming about you. Like you have a spring in your step, you know. You can really help people believe in themselves again. Yeah, you seem to be like a cheerleader, you know, the cheerleader of love, of something of that nature. So let's see the cards that you were given. Oh, look at this. Angel. Right off the bat, you are angel, an angel on earth. People love to love you, okay? You exude love vibes without even trying too much. And look at that gorgeous sunflower that just appeared behind me. So the light attributes of this energy: helping those in need with no expectations of return. So you're very giving, very generous. You know, people love that about you. But there's a shadow attribute, of course, because we cannot have the light without the shadow. And the shadow aspect is acting innocent or angelic in order to mislead others, falsely claiming to be in touch with angelic guidance. So I think that people, and especially people who have been hurt by others, who mistrust others instinctively, they could see you a bit as a false prophet. Sorry about pronouncing this. I have been pronouncing things a little bit strangely in your reading, so maybe English is not your first language. But I'm getting here that some people could see you as a fake, a phony, a trickster, you know. They could not believe your kindness, your generosity, your spiritual side. For example, you could be very loving naturally, but people who are mistrusting naturally could look at you and think, there's something weird about you. You're too good to be true. You know, like, you're just doing this for profit. I'm sure you're just acting loving so that people can like you more, you know. But I definitely feel that you are this individual that is naturally kind, naturally generous. You're putting a lot of work and effort into being these values, embodying these values, yeah? Because we all know that happiness, kindness, generosity are things we do. They're not necessarily just states that exist outside of ourselves. We put work and effort in ourselves in order to exude them, in order to benefit from them, yeah? And you're aware of this. You're aware of the law of manifestation. You're aware of synchronicities. And you're aware of the power of prayer as well. It's just that it takes some convincing for other people, and also you need to understand that you don't have to love all and everyone or to be everything for everyone all the time, you know. It's okay for you to have human limits, yeah? So I think that some people can consider you as wanting to convert them to your cause and as being a bit too pushy sometimes with your spiritual message. Now, let's see what else. Oh, the mountain. Talk about being pushy. You are very stubborn, yeah? But you're very stubborn in this positive, life-affirming way. You fight for love. You want to make happy, like bring happiness into reality. You want to make happy. Yeah, you want to make happy. I think this describes it perfectly, although it's grammatically incorrect, but there we go. You are this individual that is very stubborn in your beliefs. You firmly believe in the light, in the good of people. You want to help bring this out in as many people as possible. You could be part of some sort of like Christian group. There is just this feeling of steadfastness, you know, about you. It's like, the devil will not reach me. I will not give in to the shadow. I will fight until the end. You're very perseverant, very determined. And you're not going to allow what you perceive as being evil to overshadow your beautiful life. You are very resilient. You get up and go each morning. And you put a lot of hard work into the relationships in your life, into being seen as stable and happy, and into the spiritual work that you're doing. You actually, you know, you have a lot of discipline. That's what I see. You are this kind of person that even though you're tired at the end of the day, you still spend energy and effort and consideration to write loving postcards to all of your family members. If a person doesn't like you, you bake them a cake and you pray for them, you know, or like you really are very determined to bring good into this reality, to love as many people as possible, even those that you initially dislike or have some problems with, you know. But it's important not to overexhaust yourself, because I feel like you can burn out of love, you know. It's important for you to set appropriate boundaries. Although you can come across as angelic, you are not an angel. You're a human being, and there should be limits. It's okay to have limits. It's okay to say no, not today, or no, I can't love you. I'm sorry. I'm depleted. I'm spent. You know, I need some energy for myself. I need some love for myself. And I think that this could be the problem here. You forget to love yourself. Yeah, and the Selkie. It could be that you grew up without the love of a parent, especially maybe with a difficult relationship with a father figure, because the story of the Selkie is pretty brutal. She is notoriously known as refusing to marry the man that her father chose for her, and because her father felt disrespected, he pushed her out of the boat in which they were, and when she tried to grab back onto the boat, he cut her fingers so that she would sink to the bottom of the ocean, and out of her fingertips, seals and whales and seashells and fish and other marine life forms were born. Yeah, so the Selkie is kind of like this marine maiden who was discarded, abandoned, abused, and she did her best. She took that pain and she created life and new life forms, and she created her own underwater kingdom, and she rules over it right now. So it's kind of like a story that you could have had in your childhood. You felt abandoned by at least one of your parents. Maybe some of you are orphaned or you grew up adopted, and you made the best with what you had, and you made it so strongly. You made this mountain, you built this mountain all by yourself, you know, that now you're not going to allow anybody to destroy it, to push you down, to kind of take apart the kingdom of love that you have created against all odds. Wow, what a sentence, Jesus Christ. But yeah, Jesus Christ, I think some of you are believers in Jesus Christ. You want to preach, you want to spread the word of the gospel. And others of you who don't have any biblical affinities, you just are very loving, and you believe that love could make the world a better place. And you're very driven and inspired by loving music, loving poems, you know, love as a philosophy, to just create more loving bonds, you know, to build bridges, to repair things, to bring peace into this world, because God knows we have a lot of strife at the moment, at least. So it's very honorable what you're doing. It's just that sometimes I feel like people believe that you love love more than you actually love them, or you love your values and your religious beliefs more than you love them as flesh and blooded human beings, you know. And some people would say that you need a reality check as well, because you're too caught up on your mountain, living in your idealistic pursuits. But I would say that you know reality. It's just that you choose to gloss over some of the more negative things, because you know it doesn't help to just focus on the negative aspects, right? It's a very beautiful energy, but sometimes I think people could keep you at arm's length because of your determined and stubborn beliefs, yeah? So knowing this, now you can make some changes if you feel like it. If not, you could just continue being your sweet, loving self, okay? We need people like you on this earth. God knows we need that. So thank you kindly for listening. Let me know in the comments how you found this reading, because I'm experimenting a little bit with the background, just with 3 cards, with the time frame. So let me know if you have enjoyed it. This really helps me out a lot. And I'll see you in my next one then. Take care. Bye. Hey, group 6, we made it. We made it to your pile. Welcome. I'm super happy that you're here for this experimental kind of reading. I'm going to do my best to use just 3 cards and use them to interpret your love style. Now, this reading is very different from a language of love kind of reading. I'm not going to get into that. I don't really agree with those typologies. I'm just going to focus on you, your personality, how you are in love, and how people may perceive you. Okay, so let's begin. This is the card that you were drawn, this beautifully pink card. We have here passion. Okay, we began with a very passionate description of group 1, so maybe you may want to listen to that pile as well, but we'll see what cards you got. Now, before I jump into your reading, I want to give you some symbols. They may help you. So we have here the butterfly and the plant combination. For you, we have the bougainvillea, so that's the plant. And we have the octayu swordtail. Wow, you have some difficult to pronounce combinations, but the swordtail butterfly could be significant for you. It's so majestic. Wow, it can be like your insect or animal spirit, however you want to call it. Just some things you may want to keep in mind. You may want to do some research on both of these aspects and see if you can purchase them, see if you can decorate your life with them. But let's just jump into your personality traits. So we have here, don't despair. It does make sense. I will interpret it for you. So we have the beggar, And the light attributes of this personality type is confronts empowerment at the level of physical survival, awakens the spiritual authority of humility, compassion, and self-esteem. And then the shadow attribute is dependence on others to the exclusion of effort. Okay, so it's kind of like you may be perceived as somebody who really needs to be in a relationship all of the time in order to feel happy. Maybe you don't feel like this. Maybe you know that you can live very well on your own, but you imagine, why would I continue to spend my life alone when I can be with somebody else? And your logic is perfect. There's nothing to blame there, you know. I just think that sometimes people can see you as suffocating, you know. I feel like people may want to take advantage of your desire to be with them. Like they can get you to do things for them that you may not be so comfortable doing. Yeah. So be careful of having your innocence betrayed, your trust betrayed. Be careful of people considering you naive or just taking advantage of your kindness and openness to love. I definitely feel like you're an individual that loves partnerships. You like to communicate, you like to socialize, you like to live with another person. I feel like maybe you grew up in a family that was large or in a community in which people had these very strong connections one next to the other. So there's nothing wrong with wanting these things. It's just that sometimes the partner you may choose could be somebody who's quite selfish, narcissistic, arrogant, and they may use you to the point where you feel depleted, where you feel like you cannot live without them, which is a mistake and a lie. You can live by yourself very comfortably. So don't allow people to put you in that codependent, vulnerable mind space. That's basically the warning sign with this card. But you are somebody who's very adorable. You see this, you're wearing this polka dotted red material in a sea of blue and white. So this is about being a spot of color in a person's life. Your emotionality, your sensitivity are precious. They're unique. In a world that is so cool and calm and rational, well, not really calm, the world is on fire at the moment with people's anger, but people tend to have this more cool and detached relational style. And I feel like you are just the opposite, you know. It's kind of like you bring a spot of color. You're very loving, very warm, very sociable, and you just have to be careful not to be taken advantage of, you know. Now, we also have here the cave. Okay, this is interesting. And it is further emphasized by the house. Maybe you have your sun in Cancer or sun in the 4th house, sun conjunct the moon. There is something very, very protective about you. Like people see you as a safe haven because you're so loving. You're very maternal, you know, or paternal if you're a man. It's like people project their parent onto you. And that's why sometimes they can argue with you almost as if they're a child arguing with a parent figure. Sorry, I had to expel some air. Yeah, I feel like a lot of you are like, yeah, the story of my life, this happens to me all the time. What can I do? Well, basically what you need to do is just to continue to live your life without worrying so much about people's projections, because you cannot control other people. You can just work on your life story, your personality, your style, the way you choose to show emotions or hold back. You are a very kind of nurturing energy. You make people feel safe. It's like when they are with you, they feel like they are in the presence of a mentor at a fireside chat, you know? Like you distribute little nuggets of light, like you light a candle in a person's life during a dark time. I also feel like with the cave energy here, this is about when people make love to you, they feel very good in your body, like your body kind of shelters them from the pain of the world. You give people a lot of physical pleasure, you know. You may not receive it in the same way. You may have some hang-ups related to receiving pleasure, but oh my God, you give so much pleasure, yeah. You're very loving. You see this with the heart here. You're very stable, very solid. People want to invest in you. Yeah, their love, their attention, their time. They want to give you gifts. For most people, you are like a first experience to them. Maybe sexually, but also I think emotionally, romantically. Like they've never met somebody as kind as you, they've never met somebody as nurturing as you. You seem to be stable in a world of chaotic love affairs, you know. You're very grounded, you calm them, you stabilize them, you know. Yeah, there's just something very rooted about you. And people, I feel they can't help themselves. They want more and more of you. Like the more they get to know you, the more they want to be around you. You know, you just radiate this energy. So that's why you don't have to beg for anybody's love. You just have to allow things to just follow their course, because you need to understand you're like a house in a tempest. For many people, you're like a lighthouse during a storm, an anchor, right, during crazy winds. And this is enough. You are enough. You may be struggling with self-worth, and that's why it's hard for you to believe that you are this loving, gentle, nurturing home with big windows, you know, and a general sense of comfort and coziness. Yeah, but you are. Yeah, people come to you, they love being around you, they love being inside of you. Yeah. And there's also this energy of initiation. You tend to initiate people into something, maybe just helping them get more in touch with their feelings. Maybe you open their minds to studying the occult, right, through tarot, astrology, all sorts of rituals. You don't have to be this beggar. I think that this beggar, it's giving me the Five of Coins energy from the minor arcana in the tarot. It's kind of like you may be able to love a lot of people and make people feel very safe and loved, but you may not be able to receive this in return. And it's not that people don't want to love you or make you feel safe, but there could be some things from your childhood blocking you from being able to receive, you know. You feel like you want to do so much for other people, but who's taking care of you, right? Who's making you feel like you are this home, like you have a cave that you can go into, right? But you would see that if you heal your heart, if you do some inner work, some exploratory work there, and you destroy the barriers that you have created around your heart and around your capacity to receive pleasure, you are going to understand that there are plenty of people who want to give to you, each in their own way, just a little bit of heaven back to you, you know? Because people generally, when they find somebody really good or a really good thing, they want to stick around, you know? They want to give back, they want to protect it, they want more of it. And that's you, you know? You are plenty to many people, but you have to start seeing yourself as being plenty, as being enough, as not needing to beg for love, but just you are it. You embody love. You are a center of love, an epicenter of safety and romance. Yeah. So don't be afraid of people wanting to love you. Welcome people in your life. Open up to love and open up to receiving. You know, when a person comes to you to give you something, say thank you, rather than push them away and tell them, I don't need it. Take it away. Let me give you more, you know? When somebody gives you something, just take it, accept it, be gracious, and kind of like don't feel the need to reciprocate all the time. Yeah, it's okay just to receive. It's okay just to feel adored. It's okay just to be given pleasure without needing to reciprocate. You can be selfish from that point of view, okay? It's not really selfish, it's self-loving, because selfishness would imply that you take what was given to you and you use it to manipulate a person towards your own goal. But you're not a manipulative person. On the contrary, you tend to be self-deprecating. You tend to, you know, punish yourself. You tend to do without so that others can have more. Like a sacrificing mother. In love, you come across as a sacrificing mother, and you need to just understand that you can be a self-affirming lover rather than a sacrificing mother. Yeah, let mothers do their own thing, and mother your own child if you have one. But in love, you can just give and receive pleasure. You can just be with a person that is romantically sweet on you. You know, you can just enjoy love. That's why it was created, so we can enjoy it. Enjoy the experience of being alive. Yeah. And learn to receive, because it will change your life for the better. And it will turn you from this beggar into the queen or the king that you naturally are. Because your love is noble. And on that note, I'm just going to end it here because this is so sweet. I hope you have enjoyed this reading. You're a sweetheart, so please don't worry, yeah? Thank you so much for listening. Let me know down in the comments what you thought about the whole reading, the whole vibe. I really appreciate your feedback because I'm experimenting with things at the moment, so it will really help me. And if you have enjoyed this reading, remember to give it a thumbs up. It really helps. And I guess I'll see you in my next one. Take care until then.